G'day guys, Tony Angus here, out and about. I wanted to share another tip on managing conflict and aggression. So today I wanted to combine a couple of thoughts. Some things been bouncing around in my mind for a little while about how people are conducting themselves, and I thought I might have a bit of a say about it. The first of those is, it strikes me as amazing and incredible how often people will throw the blame back on someone, so they'll launch a counterattack. And so here's what I mean. I come to you and I say, listen, I'm not happy with this. I don't think that's right. And your response might be, well, look at you, you're no better. And it always reminds me of the school playground when we were in primary school and kids used to say, you know, no, you are. And you'd call them a name and they'd say, I know you are, what am I? And so it's an incredibly childish way to behave, and yet we see so much of it in adult communication, where I say something to you and you immediately bounce back with what I've done wrong. So you're kind of turning the tables. So there are two things that are immediately wrong with that. The first is that you're not addressing what I'm talking to you about. So you're not, in fact, dealing with any issue that I might have raised. And regardless, and this will challenge your thinking, regardless of how I raise it, whether I'm rude or not, you have to consider that there might be some merit to it. Okay, that's the first thing. To just disregard something offhand, automatically, is not a good strategy for your learning and for your development, your growth. The second thing then is, of course, you have every right to be spoken to maturely and appropriately, but throwing it back on them and saying, well, you're no better, or what about you, what about last week? It's just an immature way of going about it, incredibly immature. So if you want to be mature about it, and most of us want people to treat us as adults, I mean, even young teenagers want to be treated like adults. So if that's the case, you have to act like an adult. Now, I've seen plenty of examples, and I'll tell you the most common example recently. I noticed these Facebook posts about Donald Trump and, all the political argument between Republicans and Democrats, etc. And regardless of what someone posts about Trump, someone from a Trump supporter will bounce back with, yeah, but what about Hillary? Regardless of how badly behaved Donald Trump can be, and we all can, so I'm not getting into a political discussion here, but he happens to be in office at the moment. So regardless of the problem that someone might have with Trump, if they air that problem, then other people are going to bounce back and go, yeah, but what about Hillary? What about Obama? Which is not the discussion we're having. If you want to talk about Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, we can do that another time. And I'm sure they have, to answer reasonable questions about some of their conduct as well. However, if I bring up something Trump has done, let's stick to that as an issue before we bounce around pointing fingers at everyone else. And that's the big issue. It's become far too easy just to point a finger elsewhere. And as if it absolves you of any blame or any responsibility for your actions and behaviour. It doesn't. And so if somebody talks to you about something, if they're disgruntled with you for any reason, take it on board first. Now, most people find this particularly difficult. Just taking on board what somebody has said to you is actually strikingly hard. But it's really, really good for your psyche to stop and to go, okay, how am I being? What's my involvement in this? Am I being the best that I can be, etc.? And if you're simply not being the best you can be, then maybe it's a message, maybe this is an impulse, maybe this is the impetus for you to try harder and to be better. And we can all use that, yours truly included. So the message is, if somebody points at you in some way and you didn't like it, first deal with what they've said. Find out and think about the merit of what they're saying to you first. If there's an opportunity to grow from that, then take that opportunity and be grateful. Be grateful for an opportunity to grow. The second thing then is, if you are confronted or you rankle with the way that they've approached you, then find a mature and balanced and adult way of responding by saying, I'm going to think about what you've said. However, I would appreciate it if you could find a nicer way of talking to me about it than the way you've found. Better for your psyche. And stick with me over the journey, and we're going to have long discussions about emotional intelligence and how we can better ourselves and all that sort of stuff. For managing conflict and aggression, let this tip be a bit of a guide. If someone wants to point something out, take it on the chin. Don't be such a sook about it. And then if you have a rankle with them, tell them. I'd appreciate it if you said it in a nicer way, but I'm going to take your stuff on board. Righto, folks. If you've enjoyed this post and you like what you're listening to, make sure you tag along. Subscribe to the channel and let's have a chat. And I look forward to talking to you all again soon. Take care. Ciao for now.